Hello. For Chapter 8, there are 3 different Excel sheets. This first one is for the mean, the second is for proportion, and this third one is sample size. For this group of problems, it's the mean. And so you click on mean, and I had already brought it up, but okay. So we'll bring it over here, and you want to enable editing, and then you type in the values here. So for the first problem, we want to find our sample size was 995. 995. Our mean was 52.6. Standard deviation 19.4. Confidence level was 0.98. 51.167 and 54.033. And I used the t distribution because the standard deviation was not from the population. The second one, a botanist wishes to estimate the typical number of seeds for a certain fruit. She samples 64 specimens. So I'm going to delete these. Her sample size was 64. Number of seeds. Her sample size mean was 21.3. And a standard deviation of 11.9. Find an 80% confidence interval, so 0.80. Now this one wants it written this way. It's just another way of writing it, but it's still 19.373 and 23.227. That's right there. The next one says your measure, well, let me delete these again. You measure 36 dog weights, so sample size is 36, and find the mean is 58, so type in the 58. Assume a population standard deviation of 10.5 and a confidence interval of 0.99. Oops. Now this time I put it in a Z confidence interval because they said the standard deviation was from the population. A population standard deviation, you use Z. And for this one, they just want the plus or minus. That's the margin of error. And it's right here, 4.51. They want 2 decimal places. So it's right there. The last one, a researcher is interested, let me go back and delete our values. A researcher is interested in finding a 95% confidence interval for the mean number of times per day that college students text. The study included 110 students, so that's our sample size, who averaged 40.9 texts, so that's our 40.9 is our mean, and a standard deviation of 17.2. Our confidence was 0.95. Now it says to compute the confidence interval, it's a t distribution. The reason it's a t-distribution is because the standard deviation was from her sample, not from a population. And so our 95% goes with the t confidence interval, 0.95. To the 95% confidence interval, once you type in your data, it's right here. 2 decimal places, I think it said. So 37.65 and 44.15. And the next part's asking if many groups of 110 randomly selected members are studied, then a different confidence interval would be produced for each. So every time we get a sample of 110, the confidence interval is going to be different, but because this is a 95% confidence interval, 95% of the time it will have the true population number of texts. 5% of the time it will not. So that's what that confidence level means. 95% of the time, if you grab a sample, the true proportion will be in there. 5% it won't.